Hello world, my name is Atticus and welcome back to Glitch Delve, the semi-annual show about neat things that weren't supposed to happen in your favorite games. Today we're looking at the first generation of Pokemon, specifically Red and Blue for the Game Boy Color. This particular set of games had a lot of bugs, and I mean a lot. They're still finding some even today, and the games have been out for 25 years. These bugs range from things like the well-known MissingNo glitch or the 1 in 256 bug to lesser-known and far less likely glitches such as the zero damage or jumping on an NPC glitches. We won't be covering all of them here or be here all day, but we will cover some, including those four. So without further ado and in some particular order, we begin with the 1 in 256 glitch, wherein it was possible for a move with 100% accuracy to miss 1 in every 256 times, on account of how the numbers were compared. When determining if an attack hits, the game generates a random number between 0 and 255, and then checks if that value is less than the move's accuracy, which is mathed to be some number between 0 and 255. For moves with 100% accuracy, the number checked against is 255. However, they forgot to check if the number was less than or equal. So if the randomly generated number was exactly 255, well, it wasn't less than 255, so the attack missed. In the next generation of games, they fixed this issue by just skipping the check if an attack had 100% accuracy. But that doesn't quite address the additional problem of every move also being just a little less accurate. Next, we're looking at zero damage, which happened if zero damage was dealt against a mon with 4 times resistance to the attack. In this scenario, the game logged it as a miss instead of a hit, which better conveys what happened, but isn't entirely accurate. I have no idea why this happens, and my attempts to look it up just brought me no hit runs. If I had to guess, and I do, I think you're meant to always do at least 1 damage, but calculations are rounded down. So if you're dealing 1 damage after the first resistance, the second resistance drops it to 0. From there, perhaps upon seeing that a damaging move is being used but no damage is being dealt, the part of the game that displays text gets confused and assumes the attack missed. Oh, here's a fun one. You know the move Bide, where you roll with the punches and come back with a dragon punch? It's possible for Bide to hit a Pokemon in the middle of a dig or a fly, despite Pokemon usually being immune during the first part of those attacks. If that happens, this glitch comes with an additional sprite bug, where the flying and or digging Pokemon is suddenly visible. This happens because Bide bypasses any accuracy check to just always hit, even if the other Pokemon shouldn't be able to be hit. But because a Pokemon in mid-dig and or mid-fly has been hit by an attack, the game has to show the response animation and drags a sprite in from wherever to do so. One last fun fact about Bide: while called a normal move, it was actually typeless, able to hit rock and ghost type Pokemon in normal damage, and not being boosted by same type attack bonuses. Next up is Focus Energy, the move that says it will increase the likelihood of critical hits, and then lowers it. Instead of multiplying by 4, it seems the move divides by 4. You can actually see what dead Pokemon the spooky ghost in Lavender Town's tower is before getting the Silscope, and all you have to do is view the stats of any of your Pokemon. You can then use a Pokédoll on it to get past without needing the Silscope at all. If you try to heal with an HP recovery move like Rest or Soft Boiled when your Pokemon has a difference of 255 or 511 between its current HP and max HP, the move will miss, as if your Pokemon has full health. Hyper Beam is a risky move, and not only because you have to skip your next turn. If your Pokemon is frozen after using Hyper Beam, but before recharging, it will become stuck, unable to do anything but faint or get thawed out by a Fire-type move. You can't even switch it out. Similarly, but less dramatic, a sleep-affecting move will always hit, and will replace any current status effect. Cut has 2 fun glitches tied to it. First, if you cut down this specific tree, then take a few steps to the left, it actually comes back, but stays invisible. Additionally, if you cut down a tree and then save where the tree was, when you turn your game back on, you'll be standing on the tree. The second one makes sense. I imagine the game doesn't save the state of every little thing in the world, so when you turn the game back on, it grabs your position, and since it'd be a hassle to remember every single tree the player's cut down, the tree's also revived, allowing the player to stand atop of the tree. For the first cut glitch, I guess it's something similar where every tree is revived a certain distance from the character. It's just close enough that the sprite isn't reloaded for this one. Cycling road requires, as the name implies, a bicycle. Unless you just really want to go, in which case the guard will just let you go. It looks like certain tiles are tagged for the guard to call you out, and if you just hold left, the movement gets priority, and you can just walk right by. The road must be programmed to expect a bicycle and just gives you one if you go here before getting one. If you somehow acquire a level 1 Pokemon, there are all sorts of glitches that go with it. My favorite would have to be the experience underflow glitch though. So every Pokemon has a growth rate for how fast they level, and one of those growth rates is called medium slow. Pokemon with this growth rate level up pretty quickly in the early game, but much more slowly later on. It's popular among 3-stage evolutionary lines. Because of how the math works out, a level 1 Pokemon of this growth rate starts with negative 54 experience. So if you can get it to gain a small amount of experience, less than 54 ideally, it will hit the level up calculation with a negative number, which underflows to a very big number, allowing a Pokemon to go from level 1 to 100 in just 12 experience. Have we talked about underflow in this series yet? Negative numbers are weird, and there's not a good way to specify when a number is negative in binary, which just uses the digits 0 and 1. Writing it out, you could just use a dash like usual, but we don't always have that luxury in programming. Instead, numbers are stored in a certain number of bytes, 4 bytes for an unsigned int in C, for example. Don't worry about the unsigned bit for now, we'll get there. A byte has 8 bits, which can be 1 or 0. You slap 4 of these together and you have a potentially very big number in binary. This number can be anywhere from 0 and 2 raised to the 32 minus 1. I'll put the actual value up, but it's a bit north of 4 billion if I remember my powers of 2 correctly. But there's no way to represent a negative number. That's what unsigned means. A signed int can be negative, and the solution is to just look at the first bit. If it's a 0, we have a positive number, and if it's a 1, we have a negative 1. Since the first bit is no longer part of the number proper, our possible values change from 0 to 2 raised to the 32 minus 1 to negative 2 raised to the 31 plus 1 to 2 raised to the 31 minus 1, or roughly negative 2 billion to 2 billion. Back to Pokemon. We have assigned experience value of negative 54, and then we gain experience. Experience gained from battle can never be negative, so it's unsigned. We get our new experience value by adding the two together, and since it's not enough to get the experience above 0, a number with a 1 in the first bit is read, which makes negative 54 plus 12 equal something bigger than 2 billion. Moving on to the next glitch in our list, if you try to leave without picking a starter Pokemon, and keep trying even after Oak tells you to stay, you, Professor Oak, and Squirtle all disappear. Bringing up the start menu causes some glitched text to show, and closing the start menu fixes the issue. I've got no idea why any of this happens. Additionally, you can jump on an NPC, assuming you can get one in place, and that's fun. The ledge jump must ignore the walkability of the tile below it, since no ledge is positioned somewhere you can't jump to. The max level of a Pokemon is actually 255, though you can't get past 100 normally. If you do somehow have a Pokemon at a level past 100, you can level them up with rare candies up to 255. Any more and it overflows back to level 1. If you level up through another means after 100, such as experience from battling, the Pokemon's level resets to 100. If you deposit all your Pokemon except your fainted Pokemon, you can get a few steps before blacking out. And if you save before blacking out and reload the game, you can go pretty much anywhere, despite what your mother and Oak told you back in Palatown. As soon as you enter a battle though, you'll black out. I imagine there's a redundancy check done every few steps, maybe because of poison, to make sure at least one Pokemon is fighting fit. If you go through the trouble of evolving your starter to its final evolution before getting the Pokedex, you will no longer be able to get the Pokedex, because the game will see that you have multiple Pokemon registered and assume you already have it. And then, because you don't, you can't actually progress the game. You can swim in the gym statues. I don't know why they're flagged as water, but they've got Magikarp. Alright, let's talk about the big ones, Mew and MissingNo. To cover encountering these two in the base game, we actually only need to look at one glitch, but it's a bit of a doozy. The first step is doing the trainer fly glitch, which simply has you get seen by a trainer that moves at least one tile at the same time that you open the menu where you fly away. This traps the game in a state where it thinks you're about to get into a fight. So after flying, you have to go get into a fight with a trainer, and specifically a trainer that has to walk up to you. That last bit is very important, as the game will soft lock if a trainer doesn't have to move to fight you. That happens because the game expects the trainer to walk, with the first trainer. So if it doesn't happen, the game just keeps waiting for it. After this fight, you can return to the area of the first trainer, where you'll see some text pop up, probably the menu, and once you close that, you'll enter into a fight with a wild Pokemon. What Pokemon this is depends on the special stat of the last Pokemon you fought, and this Pokemon's level depends on the attack stage of the last one. Mew's index number is 21, so a Pokemon with that first special will cause Mew to appear. MissingNo can be encountered the same way and works with far more special values, like these ones. We've barely scratched the surface of glitches available in this generation of Pokemon, but I'd like to talk about just one more that allows you to fight a trainer twice. It's similar to the trainer fly glitch, but instead of flying away as soon as a trainer sees you, you have to get a random encounter when they see you. And also you have to be in a cave for some reason. Once you get the random encounter, you must lose to it. When you return to the area, you'll fight the trainer, and you can fight them again when you run into them wherever they are. You can combine this with the Mew glitch as early as Viridian Forest. Get into an encounter as soon as this guy sees you, lose, fight a level 3 Pidgey and use Growl 6 times. Run from the Pidgey and return to Viridian Forest and you'll encounter a level 1 Nidoking. Remember the experience underflow glitch from before? Nidoking has the medium slow growth rate, which means if you can get your level 1 Nidoking to get a paltry sum of experience, you will have a level 100 Nidoking before the first gym. I've been Atticus, good luck, have fun, and thank you for participating.